Issue 13. Tails in Emerald Hill kicks a football and immediately despairs that he'll never find it in the bushes because looking for it would be too much work. Then he gets called up from a TV screen by Sonic, who calls him Little Buddy. He says he's trapped and asks to be let out with a button, but this lets out an evil Sonic instead, who has a long, sharp fang sticking far out of his mouth, so much that he shouldn't be able to eat with it. And in fact, how the hell did Tails not see that fang? He shouldn't even be able to close his mouth over it. I was half suspecting that this would be a trap, since why would Sonic be able to send Tails a message through a TV screen he was trapped in the first place? Oh, it was an item monitor, okay. And he calls Tails a little snot, barrels through the people who remark that they're lucky they weren't killed. Yes, very lucky indeed. And his running even sets the forest on fire. He splashes Emobian with water and continues framing Sonic as he destroys the whole hideout. At least it's kind of justified that no one would notice his fang because he's moving too fast for people to see it clearly, but still, why the hell would Eggman give him such a distinguishing feature if he's meant to impersonate Sonic? I mean, I guess because of the blue blur thing, he thought it wouldn't matter. Sonic attacks and stuns his evil fake, gets accused by the Mobians, and fortunately the evil fake attacks Sonic at the perfect time. I was worried that Sonic had completely destroyed the fake already and thus wouldn't be able to prove he existed. If he hadn't destroyed him, why didn't Sonic just show the Mobians him by running up to them at the speed of sound and dragging him over to them, instead of wasting time trying to convince them with words? Out of nowhere, Tails gets the idea that he could use the item monitor to quiet things down. The fake Sonic says that he's actually an extra life for him and was made by Kintobor to help him. That's fascinating, but that's not how I'd expect an extra life to work. It'd be like a one-up mushroom, reviving the dead hero. If it were really a double of him, that would be creepy. Like replacing him. Why does he have a fang then, if he's not made by a villain? Not that Kintobor shouldn't have programmed him to be conscious the whole time he was in that monitor, which was just begging for trouble, and that monitor should have had a clear sign on it, or name, telling Tails what it was meant for, and shouldn't have given him the capability of talking through it to anyone. I think I liked the "he was made by the villain recently" assumption better. Also, is this the only extra life monitor of Sonic ever? I guess so, since we never hear about this concept again. Either that or Sonic deliberately destroyed all of the other ones because he just assumed that they would end up just as insane as this guy. So that means that there's a good reason for why Tails won't replace Sonic if he goes missing later. As I expected, Tails pulls him back into the box that he logically went crazy in from solitary confinement and nothing to do, because it's possible to suck things back into item monitors, apparently. That was convenient. This really makes it clear that this comic needs a rotor, or needs Tails to be an engineer, because it would have made much more sense if this was an invention of his. Besides, Tails pressed a button to release him, but in the games you release items by smashing the monitors. Another reason why this doesn't work, because that smashing should have killed him. It's like the games way more than the Archie comic, except not like the games just to justify the story. The story ends with the fake Sonic being kicked into outer space. This issue is by Mark Miller. And okay, I'm conflicted about this whole interpretation of the extra life thing. It's a fascinating concept for a story, but the logic falls apart. Reminding me kind of how Penders writes. First of all, how many of these extra life monitors are there? Second, I'd imagine extra lives to be one-up mushrooms reviving people, not creepy doubles of them that would replace them and take over their lives. If he was made by Eggman when he was good, he should have known better. And third, he also should have known better than to make that poor double conscious the entire time he was trapped in that thing. That is just horrible cruelty. What was he thinking? This is just tragic, callous of him. Of course he went violently insane. Anyone would. And if he started out just like Sonic, I can totally buy that Sonic would end up the same way after being trapped for so long, unable to do anything he enjoys. By the time he was set free, he was so traumatized and full of resentment that he didn't see why he should care about being a hero, and lashed out at the hideout to wreck the real Sonic's life, until Sonic fortunately found him just in time, rather than being imprisoned at the moment or something. Imagine if Eggman released this when Sonic was in a coma. While him being an extra life by Kintobor, who was trapped there for years, is a very compelling tragic backstory for him, which, once again, not focus. We all know how much solitary confinement can wreck a person's sanity from boredom. It should have been logically designed to be this way. And it would have made more sense if it was just an invention of Eggman's to impersonate him like Pseudo-Sonic. With him having an evil fang, I had every reason to assume that, because why the fuck would an extra life for Sonic have an evil fang in the first place? I mean, I guess it was just a glitch, but that's some glitch. It's like they came up with that backstory for him at the last minute. At least I can commend the story for having Sonic only be depressingly yelled at by civilians for a few panels, and then he immediately kicks the fake into space. Good thing the same thing didn't happen to him, but he made a mistake by putting him in the monitor first. If he had done it before he put him in that safe place, he would have suffocated in space after being kicked into it. Instead, Sonic made it more likely that he would survive for another day, when he's the same guy who gave a death threat to Eggman earlier.